June 11th, 2020. I hope everyone's doing well. There's a lot going on around us, and I want to be quick, I want to be brief, but direct. This world, this reality we live in, is number one created by God, the source within all of us, but allowed to be ruled by the ego, or what the Bible calls Satan or Lucifer. Islam would call the jinn, the demons, and actually I don't want to get into too much about Islam and these other religions, but pretty much all major religions now tell you that you're worshiping God, the true power within you, but they have you actually worshiping the ego, the devil, outside of you. And it's bottom line, that's how it is. If it's outside of you, it's ego, it's an illusion. If it's inside of you, it's God, all. And I know that sounds crazy because everything is God. There is no outside of God of all. But we trick ourselves. Our consciousness, our ego tricked itself to act like it's separate from God. And now this isn't good or bad. This is just so we can experience things. We chose to experience things. The true home is back home with God, with all. But we are on a field trip, if you will, a journey to experience this life in reality and what we're doing. But the trick is to know that the one who's allowed, the ego is allowed to rule this illusion because it is illusion. And the illusion is that we are separate from God. So you're going to hear a lot of things on TV and movies, and it's programming. And we're hitting a very crucial point where there's people who believe certain religions like Islam, Christianity, Judaism, that believe that they're right and everyone else is wrong, each one of them. And they believe a lot of things, but they will do anything to make their perception right, to make their illusion that they believe accurate. So they will push, they will literally kill and sacrifice themselves, as has happened countless wars in the past, to honor what they believe is what they're fighting for. But it's actually the opposite. That's the trick that's going on here. So whenever you see something, look at the polar opposite real quick and just look, make sure that's not what you want to do. And it's like a mirror. If the Vatican or the Queen of England or somebody says something, look at the polar opposite of what they're saying, because usually it's a mirror image of what's actually truth. And the way that happens is because this reality is a mirror. You're inside your heart, that's truth. But the outside is the illusion that we call reality, reality. It's not. It's a mirror. But that doesn't mean the reflection is pointless. There are reasons for it there, because this ego wanted to come out here and play, but it needs to see a reflection to see itself and say, oh, wait a minute, I'm not this ego. I am God. I am all. So you're going to see the egos of the world out there doing everything, and the strongest ego, which they call Satan, trying anything and everything to convince all of us that we are separate from God, or we're not, or trying to convince us that there is nothing more than this illusion that we see. And that's false, but that's what it needs to do to exist. It can't survive without our consciousness feeding it. So know that. And then when you're hearing these groups on TV and the news and everything, Black Lives Matter and Blue Lives Matter and all these other things, if you're saying one life matters, you're right, but you're wrong. Because to say any life matters without saying all of life matters is wrong, in my opinion. Black lives, African Americans in this country and worldwide have been persecuted purposely, but they're not the only ones. Any indigenous tribe, anyone that holds that truth in their heart, connected to the roots, that we are God, we are the creator in human form, and this earth, this illusion that we see in front of us is here to teach us. We can work with it in harmony and create beautiful things and learn beautiful lessons and then go home. Or you can be convinced that this is just all there is and your ego, and then just completely destroy yourself eventually. That's what a lot of these parasitic, I call them, beings want us to do. And these groups like Black Lives Matter and KKK and all these other, they're all about one race, and they'll say, like, they'll sound good, like, ooh, we're for equality, or we're for bringing the truth back. Some of them are, for sure, but a lot of them aren't. A lot of them are infiltrated and manipulated. There's a group called the Muslim Brotherhood. Their goal is to make everybody Islamic, and anyone else is not, is become enslaved. From what I've learned, the Queen of England, the Vatican, not the Queen that we see today, but the Crown of England and the Vatican, back before Islam was a thing, before Islam was around, these people created it or influenced it somehow to manipulate those people to do harm to others in an effort to force things. Just like the Crusades. The Christians did the same thing. Nobody's better than anybody else. The Christians literally went and massacred